Hey guys, what's up? I'm Nilesh Burman and welcome to my channel. In this edition of video, we will study in brief about Pallavas, their origin, their administration and social life, their education and literature, and at last we see the art and architecture of the Pallavas. So we begin with the origin of the Pallava. According to one school, they were a branch of Parthians, but there is no direct evidence for the migration of Parthians into the south. Another school opinion that they were a branch of the Brahman royal family of the Vakatakas of the Deccan, but again there is no direct evidence of any existence. The third school maintains that it was an indigenous dynasty and rose to power after the dismemberment of the Ikshvaku kingdom. In other words, they were the indigenous Nagas. Now we see the administration of the Pallavas. So first of all, they have well organized administrative system. Second, the state was divided into kotams. Another one is the kotam was administered by officer appointed by the king. The king was at the center of administration in which he was assisted by able ministers. Another, the king was the fountain of justice. Another one, the king maintained a well trained army. Another one, the king provided local grants to the temples known as Devadhan and also to the Brahmins known as Brahmadeya. Duty of the central government to provide irrigation facilities, land tax, primary source of revenue. Devdhan and Brahmadeya uh, land were exempted from tax. The traders, artisans such as carpenters, goldsmiths, washermen, oil pressers, and weavers paid taxes to the government. Another one is the Pallava Inscription throw much light on the village assemblies called Sabhas and their committees. They maintained records of all villages, and lands looked after local affairs and managed temples. Now, moving on to the society under the Pallavas, the Tamil society witnessed a great change during the Pallava period. The Pallavas were orthodox Brahmanical Hindus and most of them were followers of Lord Vishnu and Shiva. The Brahmins occupied a high place in the society. They were given land grants by the kings and nobles. They were also given the responsibility of looking after the temples. The caste system became rigid. The period also witnessed the rise of Saivism and Vaishnavism and also the decline of Buddhism and Jainism. Now, moving on to the education and literature. So, the Pallavas were great patrons of learning, and their capital Kanchi was an ancient center of learning. Tamil literature had also developed, and the Nayanmars and Alvars composed religious hymns in Tamil. Music and dance also developed during this period. Now, coming to the Pallavas art and architecture, the Pallavas introduced the art of excavating temples from the rock. In fact, the Dravidian style of temple architecture began with the Pallava rule. It is gradual development or evolution starting from the cave temples to monolithic ruts and culminated in structural temples. The development of temple architecture under the Pallavas can be seen in four stages. First is Mahendravarman first introduced the rock cut temples. The style of Pallava temple are seen at places like Mahendravadi, Vallam, Tiruchirappalli, etc. The second stage of Pallava architecture is represented by the monolithic rathas and mandapas found at Mamalapuram. Narsimhavarman first took the credit for these wonderful architectural monuments. The five rathas, popularly called as Panch Panadav rathas, signifies five different styles of temple architecture. In the next stage, Rajasimha introduced the structural temples. These temples were built by using the soft sand rocks. The Kailashnath temple at Kachi and Shore temple at Mamalapuram remain like the finished examples of early structural temples of the Pallava art. The last stage of the Pallava art is also represented by structural temples built by the later Pallavas. The Mukteshwar, the Mata Ganeshwar temple at Kanchipuram belong to this stage of architecture. The Pallavas had also contributed to the development of sculpture. Apart from the sculpture found in the temples, the open art gallery at Mamalapuram remains an important monument bearing the sculpture beauty of this period. Now, talking about the fine arts, music, dance, and painting had also developed under the patronage of the Pallavas. There were inscriptions found containing a note on the notation of vocal music, music notes, and instrument. The Alvars and Nayanmars composed their hymns in various musical notes. So, friends, this is all about Pallavas, their origin, their administration, social life, educational and literature, and their art and architecture in brief. So, if you like this video, then please hit like button and do mention in a comment box. And if you want PDF of these notes, then please visit description box. The link is there. Thank you for visiting channel.